All right, you guys. So we are talking about changing time. How do we extend time? You know, when I was younger, my mom would say, DeeAnne, as you get older, time goes by so much faster. It sure seems like it, doesn't it? And, it's interesting to me because my daughter is she's oftentimes saying, Mom, I don't have enough time. She's in panic. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. And I so deeply can relate to this energy of not feeling like there's enough time. When I was about 25 years old, I'd only had my first near death at that time. But I remember my mom asking me, she said, DeeAnne, do you think you're going to die young? Why do you feel the need to do everything and to experience everything and to be on the go all the time? And I very much was this active doer. I was go, go, go all the time. And that was just the way I thought that I had to be, or the way that I was. And so for me, I did feel like my time was going to run short. And I think because of the near death, it expedited this need to experience life to the fullest and to get as much out of it as I could. So that's always been the way for me. However, that being said, I've come to recognize that this kind of high speed, go, go, go energy is just not sustainable. It impacts our health. It impacts our ability to hear from divine, from source, from God, from spirit. And it actually takes away from. And so I wanted to speak to this because it's been something that's come up so much in my life. And in particular, about a week ago, it's summer holiday time here. And so I was taking a couple weeks off, and I had this feeling like, oh my God, my holidays are going by too fast. There's not enough time. I was starting to get really worked up by this and feeling that there's not enough time. It's going by too fast, and I started to really go inward in that time to really think about, okay, what's going on behind the scenes here, and what is this all about? And so I got a few messages, and I wanted to share those messages with you so that hopefully you will feel supported in this idea of creating more time. And so how do we create more time? That's the question, right? And so here's a couple things that I've been learning. Number one is that practice of presence. And I know that this is going to seem like such an obvious one, and you're going to say, oh man, of course, obviously, is this practice of presence. But I want to give you a little tip on something that I've been doing. I've been finding it extremely helpful. And in order for me to practice being present, it's not so much about like meditation and even mindfulness for that matter. I try and incorporate mindfulness in my day-to-day, but one of the things that I have been using is this statement. I am here, here I am. I am here, here I am. And I've been using this actually many times in a day, and it's an easy one to use to bring us into the practice of presence. I love using breath, and I will take a breath when I say that, but sometimes I feel I need something a bit more than just the breath. I need some sort of like registration in my conscious mind. And so I am here, here I am, has been extraordinarily helpful. So that's the number one thing. Bring yourself to presence. So when you are feeling like time is going by too fast, and you guys, this also works for when you're feeling like time is going slow. So it works both ways, okay? It is not just when time's going too fast. You can use this when time feels like it's going too slow as well. Okay, so that's number one. Come into presence. I am here, here I am. The second piece of this, which I think this is so fun, and my friend and mentor Stacy Berger had talked about time actually quite a while back, maybe even a couple years back around time. And this is one of the things that she brought in. She says, when you're feeling like time is going by just way too fast and you're spinning and it's like there's not enough time, that feeling, she says, pause, obviously, take your breath, but then think about when time was going by so slow for you and you were just like, can the clock go any slower? And so maybe you were waiting in some line and you had to get somewhere and it felt like it was taking forever. For me, it would have been like, I think about when I was pregnant with my daughter Sloan and I was 8 days overdue and time was taking forever for me to meet her. So you can bring yourself back into a moment in time in which you felt like time was going slow as molasses. And you just let yourself go to that space. So again, you can reverse these. So if you're in an experience where time is going by too slow, think about times when time went by so fast, right? And so we can start to kind of trick our brain almost into kind of, warping time a little bit, right? And so all of a sudden our perception is changed and therefore the outcome or the reality is changed, yes? So this also ties back into our ability as alchemists, as wizards, to be able to change how we're thinking about something, because that's really ultimately what we're doing, right? We're trying to think about time a little differently. So that's the second piece, okay? Here's the third one. And this one might sound like it doesn't really fit here, but I assure you it does. Dr. Edith Edgar was a survivor in the Holocaust. She's now, I believe, a psychologist, and she's got some books out. You can look her up if you wish to, or if you feel called. But I heard an interview that Brene Brown was doing with her quite a while back. And this woman was so profound to me, Dr. Edith Edgar. She just blew my mind in so much of what she shared about freedom, about the power of our mind, etc. But one of the things that she said that really, really landed with me, she said, love is a 4-letter word spelled T-I-M-E. Love is a 4-letter word spelled T-I-M-E. In other words, what she's saying is that how we can express love is to give people our time. Even if that time is, a simple pause for a smile. It's a 1-second time bite, right? Even if we're just sitting and listening to somebody who's really had a day, when we can hold space for people, and when we can give them our time, guess what we get back? More time. It is that same mentality as when we feel like we're lacking something. If we're lacking love, give love. If we're lacking money, give money, right? If we feel like we're lacking time, what if we give somebody our time? And that's really what this third point is about, is yes, we could see, the time we give people as love, and I love that thought, but more so than that, recognizing that when we give that which we believe we are lacking, we receive it back. And so that is the invitation today, is inviting you to create more time for yourself. And what does that mean to you? What does that look like to you? And perhaps the practice of presence is important. Perhaps allowing yourself to think of moments where time was going too slow or time was going too fast. And then, of course, to recognize that whenever you are lacking something, that you can certainly give more of it in order to receive that which you are desiring. So this is our time hack. And I want to invite you to just play with it, practice it, let yourself kind of be in it. And it is definitely going to be a practice for me this week, as I am still on official holidays and then feeling like, oh, it's going by so fast, is allowing myself to just be really present and really anchored into this space so that I can just get so much out of it. Isn't that the best? When we can just be so present, we're getting so much out of it. And as a side note, I want to add this because you might be noticing this energy of escapism. especially those of you who are empaths. We have a tendency of escaping our presence or whatever's going on in our life, whether it's through Netflix, workaholism, drugs, or alcohol. It doesn't even matter. There's so many addictions out there. We can keep going, but the point being is that really what the fundamental problem is our inability to be present with ourselves. And so if you really truly want to create more time for yourself, it is to deepen the relationship with yourself and that practice of being present and being in it, in the moment, so that you are not finding yourself feeling so uncomfortable with being in the present moment. And sometimes the present moments are uncomfortable, right? And so then we have that tendency to escape, but it's about getting better at being comfortable with the discomfort. Obviously, I've got some wind picked up. Maybe this will be better if I keep going this way. So anyways, if you're finding yourself getting caught up in that escape mode, like I did even the last couple of weeks of just keeping myself busy with other stuff, but yet feeling that need to slow time down, we've got to allow ourselves to come into that space of true presence. And so that's the ultimate, right? This practice of presence. Easier said than done, I know, but it is a practice, and we get to practice every day if we want to. So that's the invitation to you guys. Oh, I just am so grateful to be enjoying this incredible day and sharing it with all of you, creating more time in my day, and hopefully creating some time for you too. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next month.